On this next portion, I am going to go back to number 5, and to kind of show that things are easier to use with the standard form once you've changed it rather than using and finding x, y intercepts. I will go ahead and use the standard form version of this. X minus 3y equals 15. So I have on the 5, it was x minus 3y equals negative 15. And I'm going to find the x and y intercepts for this. So the x-intercept, remember, we keep the x portion, and we put 0 in for y. What that does is it covers this up, makes it 0, and so we get x equals negative 15. The y portion, or the y-intercept, we plug 0 in for x, and we keep the y portion. What that gives me is this is 0, so I'd have a negative 3y equals negative 15. Divide by negative 3 on both sides, and I get a positive 5 for my y-intercept. Now, I also said I would do 6, but I may end up having to go, not be able to do that right now, but if you want to try that on, you do get the x-intercept is 6, and the y-intercept is negative 1. If you have difficulty with that, bring that up during class. The next part of this is graphing lines. This is the last part of the review. What we're going to do is graph using 2 methods, the t-chart or the x and y intercepts, whichever seems easiest. And I'm going to point out to you when you should use x and y intercepts, when you should use t-chart. T-chart is really nice when you have a y equals equation, and x and y intercepts are nice when you have the ax plus by equals c equation, so the standard form. So since in this problem I have the standard form, I am going to go ahead and use x and y intercepts to graph. The x-intercept then ends up being, I'm going to keep the x portion, put 0 in for y, and those fall out. I get 4x equals 20. Divide by 4 on both sides, I get x is 5. On the x-axis, right there's the x-axis, I will plot 5. The y-intercept, I plug 0 in for the x part, and I keep the y portion. I did go ahead and change the sign to plus the opposite right there. This gives me 0, so I have negative 5y equals 20. Divide by negative 5 on both sides, and I get y is negative 4. The y-axis, I plug negative 4 there, and then I would connect my dots. On this next equation, this is a y equals equation. It will be much easier to create an xy t-chart or a t-chart xy chart rather than using x and y intercepts. You could still do x and y intercepts if that's what you want to do. I'm going to pick just negative 1, 0, and 1. What I like to do is I always say I'm going to keep everything. I'm going to replace my x with parentheses and put plus 2. So inside the parentheses first, I'm going to place a negative 1. So y equals negative 1. It would be 1 plus 2, which is 3. The next one, I'm going to keep everything except the x, put parentheses there instead, put in 0. Negative 0 is just 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. The next one I'm going to do, keep everything the same, except make the x parentheses, put plus 2. So I have negative parentheses plus 2. Inside the parentheses, put 1. Negative 1 plus 1. Oh, this is negative 1 plus 2. Sorry about that. Y equals 1. So I get 1 here. Graphing these ordered pairs, I've got negative 1, comma 3. 0 on the x, 2 on the y, and 1, 1. Connect those together, and I'm finished. Last example is at quadratic. What I end up doing is I want a t-chart on this. I will place negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, so that way I make sure and get a u. I probably will not get through this one. I'll have to finish this up on the next video. So I'm actually going to stop at this point. I will continue on in the next